Do you feel pushed and pulled in all directions? Do you feel that once you complete one task, 3 more pop up? Do you feel that you don't even have the time to delegate? The truth is, chaos does not have to be a way of life. Hi, my name is Laura Lee Rose. I'm a speaker and author. I am an expert in time and project management. I help busy professionals and entrepreneurs create effective systems so that they can comfortably delegate to others, be more profitable, and have time to enjoy life, even if they don't have the time to learn new technology or train their staff. I have a knack for turning big ideas into on-time and profitable projects. At the end of the day, I give people peace of mind.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Thinking Like the Owner Radio. And we're exploring aspects of our professional development both in the corporate environment as well as taking that big leap of owning our own business. Today, we are pleased to have with us Megan King. She is a speaker and an expert in reducing stress by putting more fun and adventure into your everyday life. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Laura. Thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful sunny day.
Yes, and it's a great pleasure to have you here with us. This is going to be really fun. But before we start our interrogation, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So what I do is I help busy professionals infuse more fun and adventure in their lives and learn to push their limits in the workplace, approach goals with more vigor, and balance their life and business with more joy. So what I do is I sort of take the principles of an adventure traveler, and I use this for people to travel through their life on their own terms and have fun with it. So, in summary, at the end of the day, I help them say yes to a more fulfilling, regret-free lifestyle.
And that's great, and that kind of leads us into today's topic. As a speaker and author myself, I try to help busy professionals and entrepreneurs create effective systems so that they can comfortably delegate to others and have that time to enjoy life. But one of the training pillars in my program is strategies to balance one's personal, social, and private lives. I know you focus on adding more fun and adventure, and like it or not, a significant part of a busy professional or entrepreneur's day is spent at the job. So in preparing for this interview, I came across a few government surveys regarding how much time America spends at the office or at work. Are you familiar with some of those interviews and surveys?
Yes, I have seen some similar stats there.
Yeah, and the reason why I was bringing it up was they seem to imply that more and more people are taking on multiple jobs, more than one job. More and more people are also conducting some work from home, so they're bringing work into their home environment and personal lives, and they're working on weekends now. So how do you see this trend affecting people's ability to have fun and adventure in their everyday life?
Well, I think it does create a huge barrier. Now that it's so easy to work from anywhere, a lot of times that's what people do. They come home, they still check their email, they get more done, and get carried away that it gets harder to balance the other parts of their lives, like raising a family or having leisure time and de-stressing and enjoying hobbies they don't normally do when they're at work. And so the issue that comes about is now, according to these various surveys, it seems like more Americans are working on average 50 hours a week, and some maybe 60 or 80 hours, and they're doing less and less leisure time, and leisure time tends to be more something like TV because they're so burnt out by all of the work, when really what they need to be doing is getting away from digital screens and get out there and get some fresh air and have some fun and hang out with other people doing things they enjoy. And so I think the issue is a lot of people get that mentality that you need to work more to get ahead. You just have to keep hitting the grindstone. When actually, I think it's not that time that makes people productive. And 70% of workers say that they're disengaged or actively disengaged when they're at work, and 69% say they can't focus on one task. They're often distracted. And it's issues like these that lead researchers to do studies that have shown that people who are actually very successful are the ones that make sure they spend time traveling and they spend time doing creative hobbies when they're in their free time, and that actually helps them be more productive in the workplace.
So what you're saying, if I may paraphrase, is by adding more fun and adventure into the workplace and into your day, you become more productive.
Yes, exactly. More engaged, more productive, and a lot of times you get creative ideas by doing something away from work. And this has happened in many cases. Like Steve Jobs, he was a hard worker, but he would do other activities, like he took a calligraphy class just randomly, and that actually turned into a big element of the original Apple that made it so unique, is he kind of used these outside skills and worked them into his work, because it's just a matter of balancing where your energies go, and it kind of brings up the creative energies and gives you space to think clearer when you're back in the workplace.
So this is interesting. So I'm thinking that it would be a good idea for people that own their own business and have a staff to try to incorporate some of these activities into their workplace so that they can actually increase productivity through reducing stress.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a wonderful idea to get a whole team out there doing something together that's not the specific job. So whether that's volunteering and going to a horse farm to volunteer and build a fence, or you're just taking an adventure course. So depending on the company and the people involved, if they all want to go zip lining or just go for a walk in the park, just to do something different that's fun and gets their minds rested so they can get back and really focused once they get back into the office.
So how often do you think companies should do something like that?
How often? I guess, it's sort of, I would say to an extent this does depend on the company culture, but I think it's important to at least have miniature activities regularly, maybe a group outing once a month, and it's also a matter of just doing small things here and there, like encouraging employees to take breaks, like don't work through lunch break, but go somewhere out to lunch, or maybe go for a walk, or, one of my favorites is break for a dance party, and turn on some music and get everybody to move, and even if it's just for 5 minutes, put 2 songs on the speakers and get moving, just to get everybody's energy up, because I think we all know when you sit for too long staring at any kind of computer screen or spreadsheet, it's gonna start wearing on you. So a little fun pick-me-up is always a good way to go, and you can do that one daily.
And I know back in the old days, several years ago, you'd hear company softball leagues and company bowling leagues, and even teams going out to work on the Habitat for Humanity houses, things like that. That would fall into what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's always been a great idea. I think it varies. I think that still exists, but I don't hear of it as much. And I think maybe because more people are telecommuting, so half of the office is out anyway. And though that can be helpful, for people's flexibility, and I think that is something. I think it's also important just to get that face-to-face contact, even for business meetings. It's been shown to boost revenue just when employees are getting out there and getting face-to-face in different activities. And that just all comes back to the productivity and feeling like a team and having that balance that you should enjoy your workplace because you do spend so much of the week there. And even if you're telecommuting, at least spend some time face-to-face with your office just to get to know people and to get that fun element of them too, not just the business meeting after business meeting and email.
And I hooked on to what you were saying about there are some places where they still do the bowling and the softball after office, but if, like you said before, if they're already putting in 50 to 60 to 70 hours into work, who wants to see those same guys after hours and playing softball with them? I mean, you feel like you're still doing a work event. Is that something that you've hit?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think happy hours are still very common, but you sort of get the same people that go because others just want to get home and they don't want to spend any more time with these people they see. So a suggestion I would say is to make this part of the work day. So that would help with participation. So I know some companies would do something like go bowling over lunchtime, and that way it's just a nice break in the day, and you can come back and still get work done in the afternoon. And in the long run, it actually helps, even if it's during company hours. It helps boost morale, and it helps with participation numbers because people don't want to put in even more time together. And companies that are doing that and doing these paid vacation days are the ones that are getting a lot of productivity and happiness in the workplace. So I think it's worth investing in that instead of keeping everybody as worker bees. They should balance that out, and a happy employee is a productive employee.
That sounds great. And you were mentioning about bowling at lunch or softball at lunch or exercising together at lunch. And you're not suggesting every day. It's not something that they go off and do every day. Maybe a weekly event or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be like every Friday or, volunteer outing the last Monday of every month, something like that, to keep it on the schedule so you keep going and it doesn't get neglected as once everybody gets busy back into the grind of work. And that would be something. So, for example, Tom's is the company that does natural toiletries. They have a company policy where they give full paid days where nobody comes in the office and they just go out and do a volunteer activity at the local animal shelter or picking up trash. And they've got really happy employees. They stick around for years.
Do these employees go together as a work team, or do they do individual? They just do their community service individually?
They do it together as a team because of that, with team bonding as well. So there's, it works for different companies. If everybody is scattered across the country, of course, it could be an individual thing as long as they're doing something. And I think everyone feels good about giving back and also being able to do that for a company together.
Now, I worked with the company, I won't tell the name of it, but they launched this big program called Think Fridays. And then they'd tell their employees, Friday afternoon is just for thinking, so you're not supposed to be doing any programming or testing or your regular duties, and any types of meetings that you have are for brainstorming and innovation and creativity, because a lot of people were complaining that they can't even get any thinking done because they're, always in meetings or always hitting deadlines and everything. And that it was a top-down kind of mandate, and that sounded great. And guess how long that lasted?
A couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, exactly. And then, real life started to intrude on that mandate. So what are some tips? These are great ideas, but what are some tips to keep these ideas going and not weighing out after a couple of weeks?
Well, I'd say one is you're just putting it on the calendar and nominating somebody to keep it going and reminding everyone, because I think as a collaborative, if no one's really taking the lead on it, it can easily fizzle, and everybody gets a little too caught up in all of the other, busy jobs. But I think, maybe having somebody take the lead, and then also having somebody else as backup, so you've got a couple of people up there, constantly reminding people of this focus would help a lot. And I know a lot of companies, they have very seasons and then very slow seasons, and perhaps the activities could change if necessary. Like if there's a big conference coming up, maybe just do half a day of Think Fridays or something like that. But just to know that it's not, that it would actually help everybody to give them that different break, or give them that space to do something different in their job. So I think that Think Friday sounds like a really cool idea. So, but I agree, the momentum is tricky. It's just plodding along and maybe even creating an incentive. So if you can keep up with this task for 3 months, then I don't know, everybody gets an ice cream social or some other activity. But I think incentives are just good drivers to remind people that they need that balance, and in the end, it does help them get more done when they come back to their desk.
This is great. Now, we've been talking about the company motivating these productivity changes in regards to increasing fun and adventure and reducing stress. But do we have to wait for the company or the manager to introduce the stuff into our daily activities?
I would say no. I think, if you are feeling like the workplace has just gotten so drab and everybody's just a little too busy and not really enjoying themselves, then take the lead is one way I think would be fun. I feel like you could team up with the manager or maybe with human resources, but it would look good on anybody's resume if you get started and get in there and encourage all of your colleagues to get going, go out and even do something simple, like instead of everybody sitting at their desk at lunchtime or in a conference room, getting them to take a walk or starting some sort of fun, simple competition, even if it's something like one of those things that I know I used to do this, back in school, is you have a jar of candies and you guess how many candies are in the jar, and one of those small passive things just to encourage something fun, and then have a big prize for whoever guesses the number closest to the candies in the jar. And
Yeah, and you're right. There are lots of things that you can initiate on your own. When I was a manager in a company, I would actually hold my staff meetings when the weather was nice, actually outside, and we'd have the staff meeting outside a little bit later in the afternoon, and then everybody went home afterwards. And sometimes we had the staff meeting at, like you said, an outdoor ice cream place.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great idea. Just change of scenery can do a lot as well. I love fresh air, and well, I love ice cream, so that's both great ones.
So what are some, if you're only one person, and perhaps you're one person and maybe you are a remote employee, you're working from home, what are some of the things that you can think of that would increase fun in their hectic schedule?
Well, I'd say one thing, especially if you're working from home, is, a big challenge is the isolation that people get there. There's really no one to mingle with unless you're on Skype or on a call with somebody else they're working with, telecommuting with. So I'd say there's two things that I think really help this work situation. One is to have a dedicated office space, because if you're working from home, you really want to keep one place of your home for the office, and that way you're not thinking about the office when you're in the bedroom or when you're in the kitchen, and keeping that space sort of sacred. And so you work when you're in there, and you don't work when you're out of there. So that way you don't get too caught up in always feeling like you're never leaving the office. And also arrange dates, like maybe if you know a neighbor that also telecommutes, have a coffee date or have a lunch once a week with them. And my favorite thing, because I work from home most of the time, is take advantage of the fact that nobody's around. So have that, that dance party I mentioned before. You can go crazy, dance up a storm, karaoke, all you want, because you're the only one home. And that just gives you 5 minutes break to give you some exercise, get you energized, get you enjoying fun and music when you're taking breaks while you're working at your home office. And another thing is also get outside, because it's easy that you could stay in your home the entire day, but again, just a little fresh air, even if the weather's chilly or drizzly, would do anybody good. It just helps refresh the mind.
Yeah, it is tempting to stay indoors, especially if it's climate controlled. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're coming pretty close to our allocated time, but I wanted to make sure we gave you enough time to talk about your different programs and how they can benefit our audience.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, what I do is I provide various workshops in the workplace just to jazz things up, and I take on activities like, getting busy professionals to do something quirky that they might not do unless they have kids, maybe. Like blindfolded finger painting is one, and so this is something I offer, per office. And then another thing I want to mention is a program I have starting next month, which I call the Adventure Boost Club. And this program is designed to get you on track to enjoying your work, boosting the fun, and tailoring it to your workplace, whether it's at home, in a big office, small office, and getting some specific ideas of having fun. So this includes, it's a 3-month program, and it includes a monthly training call and monthly one-on-one call with me. And I'm also throwing in as a bonus a tailored roadmap schedule for participants to get them on track with how they can add in just a little dose of fun, even if they only have 5 minutes to spare, and getting that on their schedule as a regular habit so that it doesn't fizzle out after a couple weeks. that gets you
That
going
is
to
great.
fun energy.
So how did they get in contact with you? How did they find out more about that program?
Yes, so everybody on this call, I am offering a free 30-minute discovery session to find your zest and adventure, and everyone can sign up for that on my booking page, which is meganking.youcanbookme.me. Oh, let me say that again. So meganking.youcanbook.me. So that's meganking.youcanbook.me. And there is my schedule, and just sign up and we can have a call and talk about the upcoming program I have, or I can just get all these ideas jogging specifically for anybody to start their fun engines.
This is great, and we're coming to the end, but in summary, I think, we can take ownership of implementing this fun and adventure into our own lives, whether we're the owner of our own company or a manager in corporate environment or just an individual staff member. What else do you want to leave our audience with?
Well, yes, leaning on that, you're absolutely right. It's a choice, it's a decision, and it's a mindset shift to know that work can and should be fun and enjoyable. And when it is, that helps in every way with wellness and de-stressing and being more creative and working better, with work relationships. So it's very important to value that for all areas of life and add that leisure time, no matter how busy your one job or multiple jobs can get you. So I encourage everyone to just make sure they add that fun into every day.
Well, thanks, Megan. It's really been a pleasure, and I've learned a lot from your expertise today, even though we've only scratched the surface of this important topic. So once again, can you give this audience your contact information or your website information?
Absolutely. Yes. So my website, you're right, I missed that part. That is makingtravelhappen.com. And you can email me directly at megan@makingtravelhappen.com, as well as book your free discovery session at meganking.youcanbook.me.
Well, thanks. That's so great. And we've actually come to the end of this episode. So until next time, just relax and breathe. Everything is unfolding perfectly.